All right, all right. It is October 25th and it is 7 o'clock, which means we are here for another Marketing Made Easy show. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited to talk to you today. Thank you for being here on the live. If you are live, please put in hashtag live. That would be amazing. If you're watching on the replay, put a hashtag replay. It just gives us an indication of who's watching and when you're watching. So welcome. It's going to be a great show. As always, when isn't it a great show? We enjoy this. My friend and I, Scott Vogel, is in the house as always. And I'm hoping, there he is. Good. We didn't get a chance to do any technical setup or checked it before the show. But hey, looks like you are live with us, my friend.
I am live and here, and as always, excited on Tuesday. What do we show? 143 in a row.
134. Oh, you know what? Wow, I'm dyslexic today. It was the other way around. I think it's 143. Oh my gosh, it's 143. I I did the wrong. Yeah, it's 143.
7 more 150, and we can see you live, Petra. And for those of you that haven't yet joined the Heart-Centered Marketing Club, Joey always puts the link in. It's an incredible heart-centered, supportive community of non-throttlers who are there to support, help, guide, love your journey here into the entrepreneurial online world. And it's an incredible place. Joey is there every day. I pop in as often as I can. And all of our tribe members who make up this incredible Heart-Centered tribe are there helping, supporting you on your journey to a dream life with dream clients and a dream business. Take it away, Mr. Ragona.
You're not going to believe this, man. Who's knocking on this door, Scott?
No.
I just wanted to see what you would say.
Can't handle it again. I know he's back in London. It ain't happening again.
Oh man, I was waiting all week for that. If you weren't here last week, we surprised Scott with one of his best buddies from England, right? And came all the way over here. He's doing a whole tour all over the world and happened to pop into the old Ragona office, and it was an epic show. So go watch Scott's reaction to that. Shouts out to Nick and his wife Fang for being here.
Yeah, Collie's here with us live. Loving Solos. Petra's here as well.
Thank you for being here. There's a problem with StreamYard. They announced it when I just put it up here. There's no comments that come through on our Facebook group. So if you are in the group, your comments won't come through. They're having an issue that they're aware of, and so I'm just letting you know. If you want to pop over to my Facebook page, you can go there, and I should be able to get comments coming through there. Or you can read them, Scott, because there won't be any coming through here.
I will read them, Joey.
Thank you so much, man. Today, I want to talk a little bit about freedom. Like, what does it take to get freedom? I did a program many years ago called Unlock Your Freedom. And I was just kind of browsing through, my notes. As you know, I have all kinds of notes. This was one of the books. And
Joey, you take notes?
I take all kinds of notes. So, and I just flipped this page and like, this is pretty cool. And so I thought we would talk about it. There's 4 different sections of it, but we won't get to all of them. I figured today maybe we'll just focus on the one section, which is the clarity section, which is where I find still to this day, many of us still have challenges with clarity. And there's a couple of areas that I want to talk about, and then we'll kind of break into a discussion and brainstorm. So here they are.
Lorna's here live also. She says hi, boys. So just, go.
Hey, Lorna. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here, by the way. We're talking about unlocking your freedom to a business that serves you well. And this is the clarity part of it. There are 4 parts. I'll let you know what the 4 parts are when I did them. So the first part is clarity that you need. The second part is control. The third part is customers, and we'll call those clients now, dream clients. And then the last part I was always messing around with, and when I taught it, I called it coordinate, which was basically how to bring teams together and expand and scale your business. So that was the word I used. I wanted to use all C's. That may change. I may redo this training, but I want to focus on the clarity part. So here's what the clarity part is. There's three main pieces. One is your driving force. And then I'm going to expand on that in a second, but there's three pieces to clarity. Your driving force, who your market is, go figure, and what your business really does. And as you can see, I've been teaching this stuff for so long, and even we talk about this in the last 143 episodes as it is. Nothing ever changes. It's still the same foundations. But I want to talk a little bit about your driving force piece, because that's so important, and that breaks out into three different areas. One is why you do what you do, or you can do it the other way. What do you do, and then why do you do that thing, and what is the burning desire? Why, like that whole burning desire of doing it. So I guess there's two. So it's what do you do, and why do you do it? What's the burning desire for making you do that thing? So I'll leave it there. I know you've written down some notes, and just pick something, man. And let's brainstorm on this. And please, if anybody wants to, God bless you. If anybody wants to join in, I'd love to have your comments, feedback, questions, anything around this topic. What are your thoughts? Where does it go?
Well, I'm going to obviously start with the top part of the umbrella, freedom and clarity. And the three pieces you said: what do you do, why do you do it, and what's the burning desire? And I'm going to start with the burning desire. And you've helped me, really, Joe, you've heard me say it, is to take the flag, draw the line in the sand, and plant it, and just keep burying it deeper. And the burning desire for me is to wake up and serve, to serve others, to help them in the space that I love, which is yoga. And my burning desire is to help more people experience the gift of yoga, because I know what it does to all the other areas of life. And as they get into their yoga practice, they start to bring in more of what they need in their life and get rid of what they don't need in their life. And because that happened to me, and it's what gives me my juice and my fuel and my purpose, I want to share that with other people. And that's where our superpowers and our zone of genius comes in, when we can truly take what fills our bucket and share it with others so that they can fill their bucket, and then they can do the same thing and the same thing and the same thing, and it has the butterfly effect. So that's my burning desire, is to wake up and live a dream life with clarity in, this is what I want to do. And the more I talk about it, the more we talk about it, the more dream clients that we get and talk about it, it just gets solidified, it gets stronger, more powerful, and the desire grows, because we're not spilling our resources, our energy into so many places. And when it gets focused with clarity into one place, it's just amazing. You've told me that for years, and I was like, yeah, okay.
yeah.
Let me go do all this other stuff. And now it's like, I don't want to do anything else. So go.
So, I mean, maybe we'll make this into kind of a, I don't know, an exercise with me interviewing you or asking you some questions that'll help spark some thoughts, if that's okay.
No,
and for other people, maybe to interject and ask questions on their what they're looking for on their side. So when it comes to what the burning desire is clear, and it's kind of cool you mentioned that, because isn't it cool to have conversations with people that align with your own burning desire, that you don't have to convince them to do the thing that you love to do?
Totally and completely, Joey. Let me address that, because even today I was on with, I'm interviewing software companies that run yoga studios, and I'm talking the language of, and I'll bring another example. I wrote my invitation for my upcoming cohort, and I kind of took yours and I copied it and then come on in, then tweaked it and edited it. And
right.
that, half naked people on the show. What a treat, also,
huh? Our viewership just boom. Why did we get a spike in viewership there? I don't know why. What happened?
Flashing naked.
Anything goes.
So Joey, what I did was, and it was just an interesting process. And, I had taken the invitation blueprint, which you teach in Atlas, which obviously after the message navigator, when people are qualified to go read your invitation, it's not really a sales letter, but it kind of, and I took yours and I tried to tweak it to me. And I did it and I showed it to a couple of people and I started to get feedback. And then I realized that it wasn't my voice, it was your voice that I was tweaking. Although it was amazing, I realized after going through that exercise that I needed to put my voice in it the way I talk to people
Yeah.
and try and conform it to your language. And so I just decided to rewrite the whole thing because I had just written one for my dream client using your invitation blueprint and it just flowed so easy. And I was like, duh. And that was because it was the language I know.
Right.
And last night at 1:00, I was going to come back to the office and rewrite it.
Nice.
Because, like, here's the language that I use. Here's how, like, one of the things was yours. And I was like, dream client statement. And I'm like, I want you to create a dream yogi mantra. And they're going to go like, yeah, a mantra, that's cool. But a dream client statement to them, they don't know what that means.
Exactly.
But if I yogi mantra, they'll be like, yeah, I get it, or I want to know about it because that's their language. And even today, dream client asked me some questions. And normally it was like a whole bunch of questions. And
Yeah.
if somebody else asked me them, I'd have to go, but it was like, boom, because it was just part of me. And when we tap into our superpowers and our zone of genius and really get clarity on that, it just is so easy. Like I was talking to one gal, pre-fluence, I kind of did what you suggested. And I went into the Kajabi yoga group and I just asked a question to help my client on is anybody using Kajabi in a unique way for their yoga courses? And, one person said, go take a look at my walkthrough. And then this and that back and forth. And they did something that I thought pissed her off. But then if I didn't piss you off, I'd love to have a chat. And she goes, oh, no, you didn't. I want to talk to you. And I talked last week. It was like, do you mean that you could help the teachers that I certify to get online? I was like, yeah. And that wasn't even my intent. And then Thursday, I am talking with a yogi, one of my angels that I've known now for the better part of probably 15 years. And I was like, I didn't even think she's been certifying yoga teachers for years. And we're going to get on Thursday and we're going to talk about yoga. And, that was Balwan and Vino. We talked about yoga brunch Sunday. I get to talk about now what I love. Am I a great copywriter? Oh, yeah. Can I architect funnels? Yeah. Can I do all this stuff? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I want to do all that for what I have a burning desire for, which is to share what I love to do. Go.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of it is like what the burning desire gets you out of bed every morning. It's and that's where when we talk about building the business or when I'm coaching anybody on that, that's what I'm looking for. And when I'm digging deep for why are you doing this and challenging them in a loving way and just pushing back a little bit is what is it all for? Why are you doing this? And yeah, I know they're going to come back with freedom and better life and get some money and whatever, all that stuff. But I want to know, what's the burning desire? What are you going to get out of every day to push yourself out of a comfort zone every now and then? What's going to make you run through the burning house, and pull the thing out? Like what is it? And and then once you understand that, then pretty much nothing's going to stop you because you've got this desire inside that's part of who you are. It's not there because of an external thing, which you're not driven by external. You're driven by the internal. So the external is cool. The external is like, I want to do this because, hey, I want a great life and I want to buy stuff and whatever, and then help other people. All those other things are really important. But I believe that it's all about the internal piece first. If you don't have that, if you're not in tune with that, then you're going to struggle. I've seen it over and over again. I've struggled with it. This is why I put the program together years ago, because I saw people doing this, and it was like, well, what do you need? And they're telling me that they need clarity on XYZ, thinking that coming to even my workshop, that clarity would just land in their lap, that all of a sudden the heavens would open up, and the the gods would just go boom, here's clarity for you. That
There,
doesn't happen.
no, like here's the magic piece, and
Yeah.
and the whole. I like what you said there, Joey, because you can come and you can say, okay, I want the freedom and I want the money and I want the dream business. That's all great, but what happens if you did that and you had it? And okay, I've got freedom now. I'm making some money. But what's left? Where is that burning desire? Let's say, okay, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of money and the freedom, but now what? What's the burning desire? What is your purpose and your deep desire? And by the way, Petra, shout out to her. She looked at my invitation and she was doing some incredible. If anybody's looking for a great copywriter, she's really, really good. And she saw it and she said, I realized immediately it wasn't your language, Scott. I told you on the spot it was born in Joey's cradle. And I was like, it exactly was. And but it gave me the impetus to realize that this isn't my language. Even Elisa Golden, a few other people that looked at it were like, I don't hear your passion, your voice. So yeah, I could have gone.
Right.
I could have gone
Yeah.
and put that out, and it would have worked, and people would have said okay. But at the end of the day, it wasn't clarity in what I do, why
What
I do.
what does your business do? Like, that's part of it. Like, what your business really does. Let's answer that. What is it?
My business, it gives my dream clients the same thing I do, is the ability to share their yoga, their gift with more people who can then live a life filled with yoga and transform their lives through the gift of yoga. So it's the same thing. It's like I say, my dream client's dream client is my dream client. It's the same thing, is they want the same thing I do. And it's so much in a line, is that they want to help more people through what they teach. And so if I can help them successfully with my gifts and superpowers to get online and prefluence and all the things we talk about and all the things I've learned from you and what I've learned in the last 46 years of doing this marketing stuff, then the world becomes a better place because of yoga.
You know what I heard there is that, like, when you answered the question, which was brilliant, is that you didn't go right into, I just help yoga teachers get online. And this
Oh,
is what I want everyone that's listening to hear, because the burning desire is, and I don't know if you remembered what you just said. And if you don't, I would go back and take that little piece out of this section of the recording, because that says it all. Like, why are you doing this? And I felt that the burning desire was articulated very, very well, succinctly.
thank you, Joey. And hi, Dan. Dan McBee just joined us. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan,
You
wish I
know,
could see everybody here. I can't see any of the comments here or anything.
Joey, I'm your eyes. So what I would like to do also, Joey, is we've got quite a few people in here, and have them answer the same question that you're asking me. So Petra and Kali and Lorna and Dan and everyone else, what is your burning desire? What
Yeah.
is the clarity on the driving force for you, for your clients? Put it in the chat, and I'll share it with Joey so he can share it with the world.
Yeah,
So
like,
let's
what comes to mind? Like, that's the thing, is like, don't edit yourself. Don't This is not a marketing test. This is not something to sell. This is you challenge. That's why you said it really well, Scott. You didn't go right into a marketing thing and to sell something. That's what I want everyone to hear. And that's why I did these exercises, because people would normally answer with a marketing, here's
right.
who I help thingy. And I
Yeah.
would just, why is that important? And all the whole why thingies, and trying to get them to say, well, this is the reason why it's so important to me. And once you understand that, and then that doesn't have to be part of your marketing or whatever, it doesn't have to be, but it's nice to know what actually drives you. Why are you getting up in the morning? And
So
then also knowing one more thing is,
go.
once you understand, once you know that, once you've identified with that, those days, which will come and they will continue to come, that are the crappiest days ever, will at least get you through, if not out of bed that day. But if you want to stay in bed and mope, because I've had a million of those days where it's like, I'm not doing nothing tomorrow. I mean, this is over, right? It's like, but then it gets you past that day. And the next morning goes, it would be like, well, that was just not the right day. Today's a whole brand new day. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what I
So
wanted to add to that.
I'm going to ask you, what is your burning desire?
Yeah. So to me, the burning desire is quickly to help people understand that they don't have to sacrifice their life for their
Right?
business. That's how do I stop that from happening? That's what gets me up out of bed every day.
Why is that so important?
Because it happened to me. I saw my dad go through it. My dad passed away at 60, didn't have a life, and I see it happening in front of me. And it pains my heart. Like, it just breaks my heart watching it happen when I know that I've got the solution. It's kind of like I've got the cure to cancer, and nobody wants to take it. You know what I'm saying? Like when the cancer patient doesn't want to take it.
I love what you just said there, Joey, and that's really important because I remember on a call with Nick when I first decided I was going to spend 3 months and seriously go through Atlas, like I go through things. And, the realization he said was, what if you don't unpack and decode your genius and share it with the world?
Yeah.
And to anybody listening, what if you don't unpack and decode your superpowers and your genius and share it with the world and focus on your burning desire in what you are the best at you? If you don't do that, then you're going to take it to the grave, the richest place on the planet, because you haven't done anything with it. And I'll tell you again, you save lives. And it's so important because you saw your dad at 60 pass and didn't have a life. And you, for a while, didn't have a life. And now you see people that don't have lives or that are so crazy, scattered, multiplicityers, if that's a word it is now. And you're like, I don't want this happening. I don't want you squandering money. And I don't want all these things. And so I'm going to read Lorna's, if I may.
Go ahead.
Because
Yeah, please.
So Lorna says, thank you. I've been a bit disconnected to my burning desire to show my children they don't have to work 80 hours a week to have a worthy career. It's also to help women be financially independent and be prepared for unexpected life experiences that threaten their financial security.
Wow, powerful.
Thank you, Lorna, very much.
And if anybody else wants to share it, that we'd love to hear from you and talk about your burning desire and why it is. And then, um, what does your business really do? I think that's an important question, and it's a challenging question. What does your business really do? And that can relate back to, at this point, I wasn't aware of like the job theory, but that goes back to the jobs as well.
Yeah,
What is the actual job of this thing? And so yours is not putting people online.
no, no. Mine is to give them, kind of like you, the life they want to live, to get them from being tied down to the brick and mortar overhead expense, everyday grind, to a life of freedom and flexibility and joy, to do what they love to do, to not have to spend all the time and get back to the practice of yoga, which is what yogis love to do. Practice it, teach it, share it. But if you've got to be like, I got to do this, and I got to figure out the marketing and the this and the funnels and all this crap. No, I don't really. Yeah, I help them get online, but that's not what I do. I give them, like you do, Joey, a life that's worth living with joy, happiness, bliss, and doing what they love, their burning desire as well.
Yeah.
So I get to take clarity in my burning desire and pull it out of them and say, I'll help you do that with this stuff.
What's for somebody just coming into the call right now? Can you name off the three, or did you write them down?
I did the three pieces of
Okay.
clarity. Well, so we started out with, I'll go back real quick. So you started out with the topic of was freedom. And there were 4 parts of freedom: clarity, control, dream client, and then coordinate, which you're going to play with. And then we decided we're going to talk about clarity. And we talked about is, well, what do you do? Why do you do it? Who's your market? And what's the burning desire? And that's what we've been talking about. We started out, I chose what my burning desire is. And again, it's to, not help yoga teachers get online. It's to help them to do what I do, which is share the gift of yoga and change people's lives and transform them so that they start to bring in more of what they need and get rid of what they don't need through the gifts of yoga. And if I can help them do that, yeah. How do I do it? By showing them all the stuff I know.
Right. And see, you keep coming back to that, which is embedded or ingrained in what you do, which is amazing, which is I help people share the gift of yoga. And
Yeah.
that's the major component of this. And the things are your driving force, what your market is, and what your business really does. That's the one we need to focus on too, is what does your business really do? Because you're not an online marketer, you're not an online business dude. And anybody listening, whatever it is, you don't define what it is that you do. That's, to me, is a by the way. By the way, it just this is kind of how I do it.
By the way,
This is the vehicle.
By the way, I write copy. By the way, I can do funnels. By the way, I can help you with all the online stuff. That is the by the way stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's I get to go into that room, which is 37 steps behind me, and transform my life every single day.
Right.
And be able to come back and be who I am in the most powerful way. What kind of gift would that be if I could help people share that with other people?
Yeah, because you're doing the same thing. You're sharing your gift, and now you're helping other yoga teachers share their gift with the world, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they also have a burning desire, from what I can tell, of doing yoga in the first place, which
Yeah.
totally aligns with what you're doing. And so anybody listening, like, what is it for you? Why do you do what you do? And you've probably been through exercises like this, but I find that when people are struggling, and including me, because I'm I'm like the most struggling in the world, and had to do these things on my own, figure all this out. And then I'm just trying to fast track it for everybody else. Is okay. Well, the challenge is, when you say clarity, these are the 3 pieces of clarity that I believe you need. And have you done enough work in these areas to know exactly why you do what you do? I was on a coaching call earlier on today, and we were talking about something. I don't know what it was about, and it got pretty, emotional. And I'm very clear on why I do what I do. Not only just because, okay, I want to help people from sacrificing their life, stopping that, right?
Mhm.
But I'm also clear on why I get up in the morning to go through everything else. It's because this burning desire of not having to go to work for somebody else. So my freedom is already planted in what I do right now, even though it's not. If you looked at my life and you think, well, that's not really a lot of freedom. Don't you want more than that? I said, yeah, but the desire is so that I don't have to go and work for somebody else, and that gets me out of bed so I can build the business, which in turn helps another piece of the burning desire, which I never know. I know it's never going to be complete. That's the other thing about this,
Right.
right? We're never going to have the end. Like, there's always going to be another person that we need to help, or right. So and that'll just keep going. So to me, is like, if you don't have that desire to do this every day of your life, then you're just doing it for something different. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
No.
But I mean, I never get up and wonder why am I doing this?
Well, Joey, like I called you the other night because, again, from the get go, it was okay, who do I want to serve? And what am I really doing? And where am I going to take the flag and draw the line and plant it? And I remember in the beginning, I was like, okay, I want to do it with a broad. Wasn't real broad, but it wasn't everybody. I don't want to help everybody because there's 7 billion people. I can't help that many. I don't want to even give it that thought. When I looked at, I said, okay, all the people I hang out with, they're all yoga teachers and they're all healers. And I wanted to help both of them because I hang out with them and I help them.
Yeah.
And then I heard your voice, and you say this eloquently and incredibly, is could I teach both of them in a room and not have to change a word?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I could. But then it hit me the other day when I was writing the copy. I was like, I have to use different words here.
Yeah.
Then it started to bug me. And if somebody said to me, okay, Scott, my dream clients are yoga teachers and healers, I would have said, which one? And I said to myself, which one? I said I could do both. And it was just the other day after going through this exercise and that's clarity
Right.
is the desire. Yeah, probably once I get all this going and out and cohorts and that, I will add that piece to it later because they're wanting to do the same thing with their gifts. But right now, I'm not. I'm a spiritual healer. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not a body worker. I'm not an energy worker. I'm not that. I could help them. I'm a yogi through and through. So why would I mess with the other thing right now? And by the way, Lorna said, I have that burning desire too, Joey, in regards to I don't want to work for someone else.
Right.
And probably pretty much everybody in our tribe is the same way. And Kali said, yes, with some emoji, to not work in a company is a sub-level driver. Love and soul hugs.
Yeah. I think that what's important here, and thank you for all the comments, by the way, everyone.
Yeah.
I can't see them. Thanks for playing along with us. I think, like, again, everything you're talking about is so important, and I just want to continue to drive this home because what you just said is important, but I also want to unpack it for a second because I know what your gift is. Is like, okay, who do you teach? Is it the teachers or is it asking that question? And I agree with it. At the same time, the question now that I ask before I do that is, what do you do? And the reason I ask that question is because of the realization of what has happened over the last, I don't know, decade of me being so obsessed with Avatar and just like, okay, pick one person and who is that person? Because it's important. But it's like now, because you've been through Atlas, and there is the destination that is more important than, to me, the person. Now, I want to unpack that a little bit because for everyone listening, because if that's why I asked the question that you brought up, which is, can you put them in the classroom and teach them the same thing? Because you could have teachers and healers, right, as the market or the tribe, and teach them something as long as it's the same thing. That's, I think, the missing component of when we do, at least the way that I look at when I'm helping someone understand who their market is, because I get a lot of pushback, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick just one person. Okay, then let's play with that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we play with that, they're like this, and this. And then that question comes up. Well, that's great. Let's put them in a room and teach them all the same thing? Well, no, wait a minute. And then that right there gives them the clarity. So in other words, you could teach them the healers and the teachers the same, or you could teach them, but in your case, what you're doing does not align with both. And that's what I want. That's why this clarity piece is so critical. So what does your business really do? Okay. And then goes back to, okay, well, who is that for?
Yeah. And again, Joey, I want to thank you because in doing the blueprint and writing copy, which I'm very good at and love it, it became difficult because I had to add words. And you and I are like, our goal is to get rid of words, and a word costs $5,000. It's gone up, inflation.
Has it? Okay. It keeps going up every episode.
By 3 years, it's going to be $100,000 a word. Our copy will have 5 words.
Oh my gosh!
New thing. No more 9-word emails. It's going to be 5. 9's too expensive. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's about helping my yoga teaching world to change.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to know why. What's the difference? Just so everybody listening can understand why you didn't put them together.
Okay, the difference is, first of all, the languaging. because a yoga teacher teaches yogis, yoga students. A healer works with patients and clients. And so now there's, oh, I help yoga teachers to transform the lives of students and clients and patients. And it's like, well, patients, I don't do patients and clients. I
Right
only
on.
look at students. And that's where it came in, because if I was teaching it, I would have to think about which words. But
Right.
and again, beautiful exercise in writing the copy was I had to keep adding words, and I had to think about the words rather than like, oh, I think right before the call it was, if I was to, in my languaging, you have the dream client statement, and I didn't want to use that, and I wrote something like, a dream yogi something, and then I was like, you know what, it's a dream yogi mantra, and healers, that wouldn't really, because there's not really mantras in that world, and so it's a
Okay. So the language is different. What else is different in what you do for them? That's what I'm trying to get at.
the yoga teacher is teaching yoga. The healer is using different gifts and different modalities for the healing, where a yoga teacher uses yoga to transform and heal. The healer is kind of transforming and healing, but they're using totally different tools. They're using different methodologies.
Are they
They're
getting online? The healers?
Yeah, they
Okay.
are. Like, Kay Hutchins is an example. She's, a healer, and she uses this, and she does Qigong, but it's not yoga.
Yeah.
So, she's in the dream client peripheria. Take that one, Joey. The dream client peripheria.
So other than that, other than the language, why can't you? I'm just
Yeah, no,
challenging in a great way so people can see why you've chosen this, because that's where I see a lot of challenges. So
okay.
why
One of
wouldn't you? Why can't you teach them both how to get online?
Because the big piece about yoga is you're bringing people into a yoga practice, and you're teaching them the practice, where a healer is putting forth their superpowers into a person, and
Okay.
it's different because they're using different tools, where in yoga you start with the asana, the physical practice, and then there's the 7 different limbs of yoga that come in after that,
Yeah.
where a healer might do, okay, today I'm going to do some body work with my hands, or I'm going to do some energy work, or I'm going to do some different things, and maybe there's a little bit of trauma release work here with some of the tools that I use. And there's so many different variants in the healing world on what they bring and how they bring, and there's psychoanalyses involved, and there's different modes of therapy, where yoga starts with the physical practice and then it goes. So yeah, I could teach them how to go online and how to do a landing page and the opt-in formula and copy and this and the experience sequence funnel thingy. And again, not the sales funnel whack-a-mole throttle. I could teach them the same thing, but at the end, I'd have to do a different kind of program for each one of them. And that's too confusing to me right now
Got it.
in the we were going a world of simplicity.
Right. Okay. I just want everybody to hear that, because, you know, just on the outside, it would be like, okay, well, if both of these people are getting online, and this is why I'm asking you these questions, because there's more depth to what you're doing, rather than just, like you said, the components of here's how you do a landing page. It doesn't matter if you're a healer or a thing. Here's how you do it, and just
Well,
choose one of these things.
and Joey, I want to jump in here because
Okay.
you just said it. It's if I just said I help people get online, I help them with their copy and their funnels and their sequences and their onboarding and all that and that I could help anybody with. And that's what a lot of people do, is say, oh yeah, I can help everybody because I know how to do all these things.
Yeah.
That's where we started with, what is the clarity and the burning desire that you really want to do?
And who's the people? Who's the market? That's we haven't even talked anything about that.
No, we
Like
haven't.
who is the market? And that's the thing, is who's your dream client? Who are the people that you want to hang out with?
Well, bingo. And that, see, I do on the Dream Island. I not theirs, but mine. Who am I inviting to the Dream Island? They're both on the Dream Island because I love what they all do. But that's different. And there's a couple of long comments here, Joey. So
Okay, go ahead. Let's do that.
I'm going to put in for a raise because this is beyond my pay grade. No, you and your tech. Anyway, so Holly, right? It's to assist women in cleaning up their life, cobwebs included, which is usually trauma, and then assist them to restyle their life through connecting their heart to their yoni, which means getting their creative juices flowing in all areas of their life. Love and soul hugs. And I want to commend Kali because when Kali first came into the tribe in that, she was like, 800 pages of what she does.
She's getting better.
She's getting better, and she's really focused it and gotten clarity in it and getting closer to that. And she's a healer, and yeah, I could help her, but at the end of the day, I don't really speak the yoni and the trauma language. I understand it. My dearest friend,
I would ask Holly, does her client speak that language?
Yeah,
they do.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do. They know that they've got trauma. There's all kinds of different trauma.
No, the yoni. Do they use that?
Well, we'll let her answer that.
Yeah.
And then Petra, I want to read hers as well because everybody's behaving nicely and playing the game with us. Petra said, would you say it's an equally important driver to state what to avoid to get you out of bed?
Yeah.
Because there are the opposite motivations of a burning desire for anything and the needs to get away from anything, or is it one direction more driven?
Well, give me an example, Petra, but I gave you my example, and my example is definitely a burning desire, but it's related to I don't want to go do that. So it's just, I still consider it a driver to get me out of bed or to go do the thing or to take a line of credit on my house so I don't have to go get, whatever. It's like that. This is the thing that's driving me to do the things that I need to do to build the business.
And Kali answered yes to the question, is Yanni their language? So it
Very
is.
Cool. Yeah.
So, and so it's.
What do you think, Scott? Do you think it's part of a burning desire of I don't want to do that thing or avoid that thing?
To me, it's not. I don't know. To me, it's I get out of bed because I want to get in here and play in the yoga studio and practice yoga and help my yogis and my yoginis to do what I know I can help them do to share their gift of yoga with the world and bring people into yoga so that they can transform their lives the way I've been able to. It's not like I don't say, well, crap, I don't want to work with dickhead terrorists, which is my third immutable law. I don't get up and say, I don't want to do that. I just now get up and say, I want to come in. I want to do my mantras language, which is what my people speak. I want my zone of genius. I want my think time, my meditation, my prayers. Then I want to go engage and go find more yogis to help. Will I hang out with people on the Dream Island as well that are healers? Yeah, because they're going to help my people, my tribes as well.
Mm-hmm. We're talking about the clarity piece of like unlocking your freedom. And there's 3 components to this clarity piece, which is your driving force. And we've broken that down into what do you do? Like, what do you do? And why do you really do it? Like, why? What's the real burning desire of the reason you're doing this thing? And by the way, money has nothing to do with it. Nothing. Zero. Absolute zero. Because even if you tell me that, well, I want to make a whole bunch of money because I want to give it to charities, the money is not the thing you're doing it for. It's the charity thing. Do you agree, Scott?
Oh, totally. But then it's why do you want to give it to charity?
Yeah, and that's cool. But like money, if money shows up in anyone's answer, that's the wrong answer. Like, totally. So I believe there's zero reason that money should ever be the reason.
Yeah, totally agree. And there's got a lot going on here tonight.
Cool.
Figures StreamYard picks this night to do all the
I can't see any of the comments.
Ali says, yes, women. My dream clients speak the Yanni and trauma language, the two things she mentioned. I just had 8 women join me in a workshop that I did not promote because a dream client put it together. And there was a wait list. So, yes, women speak the trauma and Yanni language. So grateful, so blessed. Loving solos.
Amazing. That's
Yeah,
great. Great to hear.
it's so great to see and hear that she's gotten so focused in the languaging of, and that's what happened with her prefluence by serving a dream client. And when you serve your dream clients and do your thing, like if I went out and took on a healer as a client, then at the end of the day, she might tell some other healers, that's not what I want. I want the conversation I had with this yoga teacher to say, I've got all these other yoga teachers that you can help. And
Exactly.
the friend that I'm going to teach I got all these yoga teachers and I got all these yoga. It's not like, back when it's like, I got all these things that I can help and do and that. And so again, it's got to get past. It's what's the superpowers do in the zone of genius. And
I think
that's really where it lies.
I think a lot of it has to do, at least for me, I don't know if this is true for you, but because we have these the multiple ways or gifts that we can do or superpowers that we could, let's just take copy for an example, where if someone gave us, here's my business and can you help me write copy, we would say, yeah, let me do some research with you and on it, and we could jump into it and write copy. I mean, I did 7 sales letters in 3 weeks in different
Right.
markets. I had no clue about it, so we have that gift. And but then when but we're always in that motion, right? Is always inventing and learning, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not saying let's be lazy, but now if we jump into a world where this is where I'm living, is this is amazing. I can talk about the same thing over and over and over again. I'm never bored of it. Even when I get questions about dream clients or something regarding Atlas, the methodologies or whatever about it, some people just apologize. Sorry for the long-winded email. I'm like, don't ever apologize. Just keep them coming, because I could talk about it all day long. And so the reason I'm telling you this is that yes, I could jump into something completely different and learn it and help it and do it. But this is what gives me the freedom. This is what gives me at least the brain power to step into not only helping them, the dream clients, on a stellar level, and they can feel it and they know it, but it gives me the freedom to let go of everything else and just kind of, I'll say, rinse and repeat, but in a love and it's not a rinse and repeat. It's
Okay.
just the
Yeah.
same thing. Okay.
That is here because, and I'm glad that we used copy as the barometer here because, yeah, I could spend a couple of weeks, learning more about the person's stuff than they do. That's
Yeah.
my copywriting. I got to know more about your stuff than you do. And that takes a while.
Yeah.
And then the copy's written and it's great and it's that. And then it's like, what am I going to do with all that stuff instead of the depths in which I get to go to and the heights of, if I'm just writing copy for my yogis, then I get to draw on that and it gets bigger
Yeah.
and deeper and more powerful because I can pull from that. Whereas I got to go study and figure out that. It's like the Gary Bensavengas. I wouldn't write a lick of copy for 6 months because he had to get so good at the market. And then you got to start all over again.
Yeah, you shut it off and then you go to another market. I mean, if that's your job, if you're a copywriter, you're a copywriter. But in our case, it's like, this is just about freedom. How do I live my life free, doing what I love to do with the people I love? And this is all part of it.
I got this long message today from my client and dream client. And it was like, I just got so excited to answer it because I knew the answers that how to help her with this. And when somebody else is going to ask a question like, I've got a couple of mini courses. Should I get them ready and put them out? And I'm like, yes. And we can use those in your cohort. They could be an extra. They could be a bonus. Or when people join the Facebook group, then you've got this thing to direct them to. We could use it for a gift. We could do all these different things with it. And then when the next person says, okay, Scott, should I put a couple of mini courses together? I was like, definitely, because this is what she did, and this is what she did, and this is what he did, and this is how it worked, instead of Yeah, you probably should because it's a good idea, but I don't necessarily have the depths of the burning desire. And Kali said, yes, focus and clarity dream clients only came together because of you, Joey and Scott.
Thank you.
Love and soul hugs.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny you say that because when this version or this cohort that I'm doing now, there's two couples in there now that is like I'm always learning, and it's kind of cool because um they asked me about like basically what's happening is that who's attending the cohort is not the person who is the face of the company, and that happened. Well, first of all, it happened once, and then asked like, "Is this going to work?" and all this, and I had to think about it because it never happened before. And this is my 8th cohort now, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so, and I thought about it, and like, I don't know, like, and this is, I think we talked about this before, and we still got to do an episode on this, like how honest are you actually with your business, like in telling clients? We still have to do an episode on that. And
Yep.
so, I said, I really don't know, like, I really don't know how this is going to translate, but second, what is that? Second person? Like, do you learn it and then you go tell it to somebody else? I think that's second person, isn't it? Or third person? Whatever.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. That's what it is. So let's
I
go
like
with that.
it. Yeah.
And then I really don't know how it's gonna. I think it'll work, but that's let's go with it because you got nothing to lose. And then a week later, same thing, but like from a different couple. And then one was a man, the other one was a woman on the other part of it. And I thought this was really interesting to see as a pattern coming up. And again, it's what's the burning desire? What does it come back to? And what are you actually helping people do? So um, I wasn't worried about the outcome or the person being there because I know that I'm hoping that the information will translate over to those people because um I don't know where I was going with this. See, there was a point to this. I don't even know where I was going with this. So I'll just leave.
Let me take it over and make
Yeah.
your point. And it was
There's complete honesty.
somebody posted in the Kajabi group a couple of weeks ago that they were looking for a copywriter in the wellness space.
Yeah.
On with the fella, and he was, kind of in the healing space. And the first thing I said was, "You don't need copy. You need to change your model." And it was like I could have written copy, but I just kind of pushed the whole thing away.
Yeah.
Because and here's what just came to me as you were trying to find what you were talking about.
Trying to come up with something magical.
Like Chris Colley used Yanni and trauma. And I don't use those words in my language. Could I learn them? And yes, sure. Is Kali a healer? Sure. Could I write copy and help her? We do help her. But would I go and spend time anymore now? No. And here's the big piece. I keep hearing from my dream client, I don't have to tell you anything. You speak my language because you're a yogi. And we have to speak their language because I believe it comes from that burning desire inside because of why we do it. And that was my learning lesson this week was go use your language that you use, that you speak, that your people understand. Because when I talk to my dream client, I speak her language. She doesn't have to explain a thing to me.
Yeah, I think that what you just brought up is super important, which you know how I feel about this whole thing of the whole, read a chapter ahead stuff. And my whole belief, and I talk about this all the time in Atlas too, or with anybody that I speak to, that you have to have that experience. That's why part of Superpower Matrix is what's
Yeah.
your experience? If you don't have experience in doing this, then don't do it. That's just my feeling. I know that there's ways of making money, I guess, without having the full experience. But and would you agree? And it sounds like you already know the answer, that because you have that experience, that's where the burning desire comes from, whatever that translates to.
Yes, totally and completely. And for an example, I've been doing my research in Copy Bank and in a couple of groups and looking at one person who's gotten a nice following in the yoga community and helping people market. And yeah, she's a yogi and she's learned how to do marketing over the last few years, whereas I've been marketing for 46 years, and I've been a yogi for the better part of 28 years.
Yep.
So, I get to combine those two now, and that's my superpowers, is to put all that together. And again, I had a yogi come to me and said, "Yeah, I just hired somebody to rewrite my copy," and it was the same thing. You don't need your copy rewritten. You need a different model. You're going to rewrite copy for the whack-a-mole funnel.
Right. Thinking that
Whack-a-mole
it's, yeah.
model. Here's a new one. I'm going to get that domain. Whack-a-mole.
It's we're talking about the clarity piece of this, of how to unlock your business. By the way, if you hear hashtag live, let us know that you're hashtag live. If you are watching the replay, hashtag replay, just so we know. And we'll come back and respond to your comments, by the way. So thank you for being here on the show. And we're talking about the clarity piece of the Unlock Your Freedom model, which is clarity, control, customers, and coordinate, which is the coordinate piece is how you scale the business and coordinate all of the moving pieces beyond you. That's what that whole piece means. But we're focusing today on the clarity because that is the absolute most important thing, which is a lot of people miss out on that, and they don't get the clarity, and because this is hard work. This is the non money work, right? You're not seeing any money sitting around meditating, trying to figure out who is it that I want to work with, why do I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And we skip it, or we just do a quick exercise and we move on. But it as you know, it always comes down to those things, because if you are not clear, then anything will get your attention and anything will distract you.
I mean, Joey, probably if we went back 143 weeks, clarity is just a non-stop theme. And we can't talk about it enough, is clarity. And especially here, what we did tonight, and thank you for questioning me like you always do, and vice versa, in really getting deep into what is your burning desire. Because without that, why get up? It's kind of like, life purpose I do on Mondays with Nick for 112 weeks or something. And the life purpose always was the yoga piece. And when we can come back to that, and again, I strayed a little bit because, I could do yoga teachers and healers. But you know what? Clarity, simplicity. You got to whack me over the head a couple of times because I'm a multiplicity guy and I'm recovering. Hi, my name is.
It's okay.
I'm a recovering multiplier.
That's amazing. I think that today, just give you an example. Today I had not a long day. I guess it would be a long day for most people to do it, back-to-back coaching. And my energy, as you can see here, is not dwindled at all, because we talked about like who drains your batteries, what drains it, and what supercharges your batteries. And that supercharges my batteries. But I've also been blessed to do this work because, again, using, first of all, who do I want to speak to? What's the purpose of me speaking to them? And the entire purpose is just, how do I stop them from sacrificing? That's it.
Yep.
And yes, here's how you can do this part, here's how you can do that part. But in the back of my mind is, how can I get this person to stop sacrificing and get the things we talked about? Anyway, but the reason I'm telling you this is because just having the conversations with the dream clients or people that you love every day means that you can just show up. You don't have to prepare. And I just love that. I don't know if that's true for you, but holy mackerel.
I spend a couple of hours a week with my dream client as part of the engagement that we do. And I do nothing. I show up, I pull up the one tab from Google, and I've got everything in there. And it's like, okay, tell me about your assignments. And then it's like, boom, go. I don't have to sit and prepare anything in advance because it's all there. And that's the beauty of the clarity of the focus on the burning desire, is it's all in there. And I get to pull, like you said, from the superpowers and focus it on one place only.
Right on.
That's
We're talking about clarity. So you can leave this conversation with answering your own questions. What is your driving force? Why do you do what you do? And so why do you do what you do, and what do you do? What is the business really about? Like, what is the thing? And it's usually not you're a life coach, you're a healer, none of that. Like, what does the business really do for the dream client? And who the market is. I mean, they're not in order there, but who is the market? Who is the dream client? Who is the person that you're actually transforming? Those are the three most important questions. If you get those right, then I promise you that your business will be a whole lot easier.
And Joey, I'm going to just throw some things in here too, and
Yeah.
thank you for it. Is my three immutable laws right now in my business are: one, you have to do what I tell you to do because I'm right and I know what to do. Two, you have to show up and you have to do the assignment so that I can help you. And three, you can't be a dickhead and a terrorist. So those are my three immutable laws. And that also goes into the chain of beliefs, which is the first one, the must have is you have to believe or at least accept that you can't be all things to all people.
Yep.
And the tipping point for me in the chain of beliefs is that you have to believe that you're going to serve one dream client, solve one problem, one solution, and make one promise. And if those don't exist, and all of that is all part like this thing should be mapped out on a whiteboard. Because
would it be so? Let me back up for a second. That to me sounds like I would try to reframe that belief, that they don't believe they need to do those things, but they believe that if they do those things, this will happen.
Yes.
So what is that thing that will happen? If I serve one client, do one thing, like that's what the belief is.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that for anybody listening to the chain of beliefs.
If that is their belief and they come to say, okay, yeah, I believe that if I do that, I'm going to be able to help more people and serve more people and transform more.
Right. Okay. So that's the piece. That's so important, because just saying, well, I believe that I need to whatever is not enough.
Yeah. And thank you. And notice that there was nothing in there about my program, that doesn't come till the end.
Yeah, because they more than likely they're like everybody else's, which, well, you're telling me to serve one thing or pick one specific market, one person, all this, but I can make more money over here, or I can serve more people doing it this way. So the belief is, no, if I do this, then I'll be able to serve more people and have a better life. So they basically, anyway, that's a whole chain of beliefs discussion now.
Whole another thing. We're bringing in chain of beliefs and immutable laws and this and that and that.
I'm glad you brought it up, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, so we are done for another Tuesday night. It is Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday night. So, man, thank you for being here as always. Thank you for watching live. If you are #live, if you are watching replay on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you for coming back, and we love you, and hopefully you love what we are doing here. Just let us know with a heart, a little bell, or a like, or something like that. Let us know, and we will see you again on next Tuesday. Anything you want to close out with, Scott?
I love you.
Love you back, my friend.